The exercise file that we're using for this movie is at the top of the screen, O1 examples. In Excel, there's certain terms that we must use consistently. This workbook is called O1 examples. A workbook is a file is a workbook, and nearly always in Excel, we can use those two terms interchangeably. Every workbook has at least one worksheet. And if we were to create a new workbook, we'd see one sheet in it. We can add sheets, we can take them out. And at the bottom of the screen here, we can see in this workbook, there is a Sheet 1 tab, but also a tab for profits. And you can see the other names, 2019 budget, customers, and so on. And we can add many, many sheets. As you can see, we can have color as well too. So we never want to make those terms be used interchangeably. Every worksheet has exactly the same number of columns, the same number of rows. On my keyboard, I'm pressing the right arrow here. As we see this cell moving across the screen, we see the column letters. These are columns. Columns are vertical, and they're identified by letters. And after we come to the letter Z, you see how the lettering scheme starts all over again with A, B, and so on. And to get to the far right, and normally you won't need to do this, I'll hold down the Control key and then press right arrow. It takes us all the way to the end. That's the last column. And if you were to figure that out, it's well over 16,000. How do we get back to the upper left corner? We hold down Control and press the Home key. Moving down on the left-hand side, it'll take us a very long time to get to the bottom because the rows, which are always horizontal and numbered, and here I will hold down Control like I did before, but this time down arrow. How many rows are here? Well over 1 million. Now, you don't have to use them all. In fact, most people don't even come close, and why would you? But it's there anyway, and all worksheets have that attribute. How do we get back home? Upper left corner, Control Home. And that location, by the way, has a name. And every one of these cells, whether you use the arrow keys to get to this cell, that cell, or you slide the mouse around and click with the left mouse button, that's a different cell. Every cell has a column and row location. This cell is in column C, row 4. Therefore, we call it cell C4. And if there's any doubt, look right above the main body of the worksheet here. This is called the name box. That's cell C4. This is D2. This is F2. And these addresses become very important, particularly as you start to work with formulas. So all these worksheets are the same initially. And as I just click on a different sheet at the bottom, you can see how the column widths have been varied on some of these. I didn't change the row height on any of these, but that can be done too. And you can see certainly different column differences here. So every Excel workbook is a file is a workbook, and a workbook has multiple sheets, and they all have, at least initially, the same layout. Those are features we keep in mind as we work with Excel.